Hey guys, today I'll be doing an unboxing and first look of the newly revised No Boxing, No Life Made in Mexico training gloves. So check it out. Hey guys, Carlo here, and today I'm doing an unboxing and first look of the newly revised No Boxing, No Life Mexican-made training gloves. These retail for $220. You can get them either in lace-up or Velcro and multiple different colorways. If you're interested in checking out these gloves, I'll put the No Boxing, No Life USA website down below in the description box. I also want to give a big shout out to Jorge Villanueva, who also runs the No Boxing, No Life USA website, and I'll put his social media connect as well as his Instagram in the description as well. Now, to give you guys a brief overview of these gloves, or should I say a history on the No Boxing, No Life gloves, I've done reviews on both their pro fight gloves. Obviously those are really popular because Canelo uses them in his fight and his training. And I also did a review on their two types of training gloves. They had a Pakistan-made gloves, which were pretty subpar. And then they also had a Mexican-made training glove, which were pretty average. So both of them I wasn't really impressed with. So when I saw that these were released, I was really interested in seeing how these performed, as well as aesthetically and quality-wise, what they made an improvement with. You know, anytime you come out with another version of a same model of glove, in my mind, I would expect for the glove to be improved in all areas, if not many of the areas of the glove. So let's go ahead and open up this box and see how these gloves look. And just so you guys know, No Boxing, No Life USA, I believe they're actually based out of San Diego. I know in the very first year or two when No Boxing, No Life first came out, I actually had to purchase my very first pair from Mexico. So it was sent from Mexico, but now with No Boxing, No Life USA, it makes it a lot more accessible in regards to being able to have the gloves here locally in the United States. So it makes it easier for shipping as well as ship time. So let's go ahead and open this up. First thing, I just have the invoice right here and also the gloves themselves. So here you go. That looks great. That's the Mexican colorway, Mexican flag colorway, the white, red, and green. So that looks amazing. And that is the left glove. And here is the right glove. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw the box to the side. And here they are. So beautiful looking glove. Taking them out of the box, my first impression is they really remind me of like Gil and Zeppel boxing gloves, or even those Lopez gloves. Yeah, obviously there might be a couple of small differences between those and these gloves just from the naked eye, but they have kind of the same length and size profile as those gloves in my opinion. But just looking at it right off the bat, I can definitely tell there's a huge improvement from the original Mexican made training gloves from No Boxing, No Life. And compared to the Pakistan ones, there's not even any comparison. These are by far leaps and bounds better than those Pakistan training gloves. And to be honest with you, I don't even know if they even sell those or offer those anymore, to be honest with you. They may have discontinued those, thankfully, if they did. So there you go. Amazing looking gloves. They're kind of laced up together. Let me go ahead and undo the laces so I can separate the gloves from each other, so we can kind of look at these individually. So we'll start off with the right glove. This is a 16-ounce glove, so you can see that this would be really a good all-around training glove, I would assume, for both sparring, hitting the bag, doing mitt work. The leather on here looks beautiful. A really nice high quality leather, really thick. And again, if I were to compare it, that way you guys have kind of something to benchmark it to. Again, I would say like Lopez, maybe Gil would be a good comparison in terms of the type of leather that's used and even the shape of the glove. You can see it has that traditional kind of wedge, Mexican made style shape to it. And you can see the thumb has a very nice parallel thumb. A little bit on the larger side when it comes to the actual thumb compartment right there. So it does look pretty large in that regard. And you have a good amount of firm padding right there on the thumb as well. You have the No Boxing No Life logo on the back of the glove that is also revised as well. So I think the logo itself looks really good. Has that black, white, red, and green, as well as kind of like a, I don't know if it's, I necessarily call it gold, kind of almost like a rose gold colorway. And you can see that it has a little bit of a reflectiveness to it. I believe that the padding they use in here is going to be pretty much your standard latex foam padding. I would say the consistency on this padding is on the medium, maybe even a little bit more on the firm side. It's definitely not super soft where you can just push your finger all the way through. And then you also have this piece right here that kind of connects over the thumb to prevent the thumbing from coming out. And it's kind of like a little divot that rounds out and kind of fits in this little pocket where the thumb is at. So you have that. You also have that white leather attached thumb. The palm side, you'll notice, is that it doesn't have any ventilation. So, or at least should I say perforated holes to allow the thumb and the palm to kind of vent out. So I'm kind of curious on how that does in terms of you know, moisture wicking and allowing the heat to dissipate from inside the hand compartment. The grip bar, I'd say, is a little bit on the smaller side, although it is very firm. So holding that feels pretty firm. Just seems to be a little bit on the smaller side in terms of the actual circumference of the grip bar. You have that white piping, the red leather on the inside of the thumb. The green leather looks really good. Has a beautiful texture and shine to it. I'd say the leather on here has kind of a satin finish if I were to, I guess, grade it in terms of like the shine. So I'd say more of a satin. You have nice long black flat laces with plastic tips at the end, white piping around as well. No Boxing, No Life. The tag at the very bottom of the glove cuff says 16 ounces. And then on this side it says made in Mexico as well. The inside liner is a nice soft polyester satin liner on the inside. And I also noticed that the glove is pretty top heavy. I would venture to guess, just based on the hand test by holding it, it's probably over 16 ounces. It does feel a little bit on the heavier side in that regard. But one thing I also noticed is they do give you an ample amount of wrist support. So you have, I'd say, maybe 3/4 and almost an inch of wrist padding on the inside of the wrist that comes up to right about here, as well as on the thumb side that comes right here. But the padding is very soft. And because of that, you can see just structurally around the wrist area, it is a very soft wrist. And because of the latex foam they use here, it does have a little bit of imbalance in terms of how structurally rigid the glove is. So you can see the top part, or the hand compartment area, is definitely heavier and carries the brunt of the weight of this glove, where the bottom section is definitely on the softer side. Kind of reminds me of those Angelus boxing gloves I did a review on a couple of months ago. It may have been like 2 months ago, I think I did a review. And same thing with those gloves, the wrist support was really, really soft. And it's kind of the same case with this one. Also, what's kind of unique with this glove is that it doesn't use a triple cuff for a training glove. Typically, a lot of the Mexican-made training gloves will have that kind of like triple cuff, where when you lace up the gloves, it kind of sits, the laces kind of sit in the track. With this, it just has a flat cuff on the back and has about 1 inch of foam padding. Again, very soft. You do have the revised No Boxing, No Life patch on the back of the glove. It looks really clean. It is a pretty soft touch. You do have a couple of edges there that I would probably tape off if I were to use these gloves for sparring. But it has a gold script, and it has kind of almost like a shimmer to it if you look at it. And hopefully the video can kind of capture that, but you do have that gold, the green, the white, and the red. So No Boxing, No Life Squad, it says right there. So let's go ahead and slide our hands into the gloves. Stitching on here also looks pretty good. I'd say that maybe the area where the thumb meets the index finger looks like it could have been done a little bit cleaner. Hopefully I can capture that, and I'll pull up the left glove as well. I mean, the leather on here is really, really nice, high grade. It has that really strong leather smell. And I also believe they use a waterproof repellent that they spray on here like they do with other gloves. But you can see the edges right here. Probably if I were to identify any areas that might be areas of opportunity that they could have done better. You can see the stitching kind of pulling on the leather. But the stitch pattern all looks really good, nice and straight, nice and symmetrical. And then obviously just this wrist support area again on both gloves being very soft. I haven't used them yet, obviously, so I'm kind of curious to see how these perform. But let's go ahead. Oh, and one other thing I just noticed too is the kind of the way the inner piping on the palm side goes. So you'll notice this is the right glove, the left. You'll notice that the left, the piping kind of swings to the right, where this inner piping right here, kind of the way it turns in, and even the stitching and this kind of this stitching right here kind of rounds out, where you'll notice on this one the pattern is just a little different, and just something you can see with the naked eye by looking at it. What that will affect in terms of performance, I don't know yet, but looking at it, you can see that it's a little off on the left glove, where the right glove is a little bit more centered. So I'll go ahead and put the right glove on and see how these feel. The liner feels really nice. The hand compartment definitely reminds me of like Nakali boxing gloves and even the Gills. It's very roomy, and I feel that like my pinky on my right hand has a lot of room between my pinky and the upper corner of the inside hand compartment. So I'm curious to see how these will perform once I have my hand wraps on and it kind of fills in the hand compartment a little bit better, because right now obviously it's just my bare hands on the inside. The thumb placement feels really good. It feels a little bit on the short side in the tip area, but when I do make a fist, it has a really nice pre-curved hand compartment, so there's not a lot of effort that you need to put in to close your hand and make a fist. So I'm kind of curious to see how that breaks in terms of the thumb. But the piping feels good, the depth feels pretty solid, the room in the glove feels good. I just feel like the tip area is a little bit on the snug side, but we'll see how that performs. The width of the hand compartment is definitely on the larger side for a 16-ounce glove. And one other thing, I wish they used a softer foam to line the inside hand compartment, because right now as it stands, it's basically your hands and then just that latex foam they use for the punch surface is pretty much the same kind of foam that's on the inside of the glove. So it would have been good to see them maybe use a softer type of, open cell foam with maybe like a felt liner to kind of give it a little bit more comfort in the knuckle and the hand compartment area, which would have been nice. And then there's an additional grip bar that you can't see on this part right here. So you have this grip bar here, and then there's another rolled grip bar that you find a lot of Mexican companies do. So when you make a fist, you can really grip down with the ends of your fingertips on that as well. But overall, they feel pretty comfortable. Obviously the wrist support's on the softer side, but it really just boils down to me using these gloves and seeing how they perform, both in terms of like feedback, protection, and comfort. You really start to feel how the gloves perform, and if there's any areas that cause you any kind of discomfort, only after several rounds of using them. The first initial feel, like me using it here after taking it out of the box, kind of gives you a little bit of a false sense of how they really perform or how they feel, because when you start hitting the bag, hitting the missed sparring, and your hands start to kind of shift around inside the gloves, that's when you really will start to notice areas that you either enjoy about the glove or parts that you just can't stand or get annoyed with. Okay, the thumb's really jamming, the piping around the thumb is too tight, my fingers are going numb, stuff like that is what you start to really find out as the rounds start to pile up. But overall, really impressed with these. Definitely a huge improvement from my first initial look from the previous models from No Boxing No Life. So I'm definitely excited to use this in my training, and then in the next couple of weeks I will give you guys my review on these. So if you guys have any questions or comments, make sure you guys leave them down below in the comments box. I'll put the link in the description box where you can find these newly revised No Boxing No Life training gloves. I'll see you guys later. Take care.